Hi, my name is Bridget Green. I'm a Habitat LA donor and volunteer, and I want to welcome you to the 2021 Power Women, Power Tools virtual event.
Hi, I'm Ashley Fink, and I am so proud to be a Habitat LA Power Woman. Congratulations, Habitat LA, on the 17th annual Power Women, Power Tools. Girl power.
I want to say congratulations to all our women volunteers. You are all power women.
Welcome everybody to the 17th annual Power Women, Power Tools with Greater Los Angeles Habitat for Humanity. I'm Annette Duke, and I'm here this year virtually to welcome you to enjoy this event. This is an annual event, and every year we get together women doing the best that they can do to support Habitat for Humanity and change their neighborhoods. So enjoy this virtual event. We look forward to seeing you again soon in the future.
And friends seem hard to find. You know how to light us.
Hey everybody, it's Kiki Shepherd giving a big shout out to Habitat LA for the 17th annual Power Women, Power Tools virtual event. Hopefully next year it won't be virtual and we will all be there with our nails and hammers and paintbrushes helping to bring these magnificent homes to life for these amazing families. I'm always thrilled to join Habitat LA for this event year after year, and I'm also so very thrilled to be a part of the honorary host committee once again. Thank you so much, Habitat LA, for all you do for so many families. I'm so proud to be a part.
Hey Power Women, my name is Lisa Cicero and I'm a proud LA Habitat for Humanity Power Woman. I am so glad to see all you other Power Women out there joining us. I want you to stay safe and healthy and go girls!
Hi, I'm Marnie Rosenzweig from the Rosenzweig Group, and I'm proud to once again be a Habitat LA Power Women, Power Tools host. This is one of my favorite events of the year, and I'm honored to virtually join Habitat LA for the 17th annual Power Women, Power Tools event. During this time, it's even more important to continue to advocate, donate, and support Habitat LA and affordable housing. Thanks.
When you're down, there's just one way to go.
Hello, my fellow Power Women. I am so excited to be joining this virtual event, Power Women, Power Tools, and I hope that you enjoy it.
Hello, I'm Hildale Solis, Chair of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. Thank you for inviting me here, and congratulations to Habitat LA for 17 years of Power Women, Power Tools. This also marks the 31st year that Habitat LA has been providing housing to those most in need. The impacts of housing insecurity have never been clearer than right now. This pandemic has exposed the flaws in our safety net, but Habitat LA and LA County will continue working towards ensuring equitable housing for all. And I'm proud to share that almost 1,000 units of affordable housing have been built since I took office in 2015. But this is only a fraction of what is needed to get us out of this homelessness crisis. Partners like Habitat LA are a crucial part of the solution, and I'm grateful that Habitat LA has brought housing to cities in my district, such as Montebello. Thank you to Habitat LA and all your partner families, volunteers, your donors, and sponsors for making all of this possible. None of this could be done without you. I look forward to the day that I can join you all on the job site to swing a hammer and build something together. Thank you.
But I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong.
This is LA County Supervisor Janice Hahn, and I'm so proud to be on the host committee for Power Women, Power Tools. I've been involved with Habitat for Humanity for decades, and Power Women, Power Tools is one of my favorite programs. I remember what a great time I had working alongside an all-women team to build a home in Wilmington. And 20 years later, that home is still standing. And the women of Power Women, Power Tools are still doing incredible work. Your latest project, Millennium Homes, is going to mean 10 affordable homes for families in the Washington neighborhood in Long Beach in my district. Unfortunately, the need for affordable housing is only continuing to grow, and we need Habitat for Humanity's work now more than ever. So thank you, and keep up the good work. We're counting on you.
It's a privilege to join Habitat for Humanity of Greater Los Angeles in celebration of your annual Power Women, Power Tools event. Women's History Month gives us an important and empowering opportunity to reflect on all the incredible women who serve as leaders in their workplaces, communities, and families. The dedicated women working and volunteering with Habitat LA, and the remarkable leaders of the women-owned businesses in your women's empowerment marketplace are an inspiration and an illustration of talent and commitment. Women across Los Angeles County are showing that there is a power in unity. When we work together toward a common goal, there is nothing we can't do. When we build up one another, we can build our neighborhoods to be better for generations to come. With the right tools in hand and the support of each other, we have everything we need to succeed. Thank you to Habitat LA for your commitment to serve and strengthen our community.
Hello and welcome to our 17th annual Power Women, Power Tools event. My name is Erin Rank and I'm the President and CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Greater Los Angeles. Power Women, Power Tools is an annual event that is born out of our Hollywood for Habitat for Humanity partnership. Originally, it started as a partnership with the entertainment industry community and has grown to include a lot of our corporate partners. The idea is that partners help us with volunteerism, raising funds, and raising awareness for Habitat for Humanity throughout the Los Angeles community. We're here today on our Washington neighborhood site called Millennium Homes. We wish that we could all be together building today, but hopefully someday in the near future. This site is in Long Beach, and it's in the middle of our neighborhood revitalization initiative. Today, we're going to hear from power women from throughout Los Angeles, from all walks of life, who are using the tools in their tool belt to help transform communities and families. Before we get started, I want to thank our tremendous presenting sponsor, City National Bank, who has been a wonderful supporter of Habitat LA throughout the years. Thank you for your generous donation and for supporting today's event. I would also like to thank Sony, Los Angeles Magazine, and Lowe's, some of our other event sponsors, as well as our honorary and host committee members. Here to give our blessing today, I'd like to introduce Pastor Maisha Cheney from Antioch Church. Antioch is located right in the heart of this neighborhood, and its congregants have built with us and helped raise funds to further Habitat for Humanity's mission. They participate in our Long Beach Faith Coalition leadership team, and Antioch is focused on connection, growth, and impact, making them a perfect partner for Habitat LA. Thank you, Pastor Maisha.
Good morning. I'm Maisha Cheney from Antioch Church here in Long Beach, and I'm so excited to be here representing Power Women within Greater Los Angeles and Long Beach faith communities. Did you know that Habitat Los Angeles started in a small room here at Parkcrest Church in Long Beach? And now, over 30 years later, congregations from all backgrounds come together seeking to put God's love into action, building homes, building communities, and offering hope. On this build site alone, 30 communities in Long Beach and Greater Los Angeles have already committed financial support and are eager to send volunteers to help build homes once the pandemic lifts. I'm reminded in these moments of Jesus. He was generous in spirit, generous with resources, and he actually gave the greatest gift of all, his life for mankind. I wonder how we can be influenced by Jesus using the tools that we have, being kind, offering words of hope and peace, giving from our own resources to make a difference. Let's pray for this foundation and let's believe God to do something extraordinary. So Father, we thank you for the foundation that is laid here. I thank you for every hand, every tool, every resource, every person involved. I pray, God, that you use this to make a difference in scores of hearts in generations to come. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Maisha. As I mentioned, we're here in Long Beach, California, and Long Beach holds a special place for Habitat for Humanity of Greater Los Angeles. This is the city where we built our first home 31 years ago. And fast forward to today, on this site, we will build our 1,000th and first home, thus the name Millennium Homes. Long Beach also holds a special place in my heart because I was born in Long Beach, only 2 blocks from this build site. And I started building with Habitat LA on our 7th home. So that means that my 1,000th home will also be here on this Millennium Homes site. My parents bought our family's first home here in Long Beach. My dad was an accountant with McDonnell Douglas and my mom was a physical therapist. And they saved all their money to buy their first home for $20,000, if you can imagine that. And now Habitat LA is helping more families buy their first home here in Long Beach, and I'm proud to be a part of that. Here on the Millennium Homes site, we are going to build 10 new homes, and we have a site down the street, our Locust site, where we'll build another 38 new homes, and those will start later in 2021. Now, earlier I mentioned our Neighborhood Revitalization Initiative. That's a special program that Habitat LA has where we are wrapping our arms around a certain neighborhood. In this case, it's 10 square blocks in Long Beach, California. And not are we only building on the sites that we own, but we are looking to build this whole community by engaging the residents in community programs, in leadership, and really helping them envision what they'd like to see the Washington neighborhood become. And throughout the past few years, the residents of this community have organized community events in the parks like a Dia de los Muertos event and a Black History Month event. They have held community leadership meetings, home ownership counseling meetings. They've attended city council meetings and helped raise funds for the parks in this neighborhood. So we're super proud of the men and women of the Washington neighborhood, and we could not do it without them. My goal today is to remind you that we all have different tools in our tool belts. It may not always be a hammer, it may not always be a paintbrush, but you have tools that can help Habitat LA help more men and women become homeowners, have better housing, maybe they need to repair their homes, or just to become a community leader and feel more comfortable with their own voice. Now, I want to introduce a special friend to Habitat for Humanity of Greater Los Angeles who has a tremendous voice. And she is a power woman in her own right. She is the first Latina, she is the first woman to be named as the president and CEO of the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, our dear friend, Miss Maria Salinas.
Thanks, Erin. Hi, I'm Maria Salinas, president and CEO of the Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce, the largest business association in Los Angeles County, serving the interest of more than 235,000 businesses across the region. On behalf of the Chamber, we are proud to be partnering with Habitat LA on this year's Power Women, Power Tools event. Local businesses have been hit hard this last year, and along with that, critical housing needs have increased. As the head of the Chamber, one of the tools in my tool belt is to help advance opportunities for local businesses, and by partnering with Habitat LA to create more affordable housing solutions. That's why I'm excited to join you all today to encourage you to visit Habitat LA's Women's Empowerment Marketplace. This special marketplace is comprised of local women-owned small businesses who have made a commitment over the last month to support the life-changing work of Habitat for Humanity of Greater Los Angeles. For every purchase made with the code PWPT21, from the last month through the end of the day today, these business owners are donating a portion of their sales to Habitat LA. By purchasing products from this marketplace, you are helping to support local women entrepreneurs who are following their passions, using their creativity and business savviness to provide their wonderful products and services. And you are also helping support the work of Habitat LA. You can shop the marketplace by visiting habitatla.org and clicking on the Power Women, Power Tools button, and then clicking on the Women's Empowerment Marketplace page. Thank you to all these amazing women-owned businesses for their generosity and commitment to Habitat LA's mission. From all of us at the LA Chamber, we are happy to be partnering with Habitat LA to help ensure that we all have a thriving region for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. I love the fact that we are highlighting women entrepreneurs from throughout Long Beach and Los Angeles this year as part of Power Women, Power Tools. So many creative, wonderfully talented women are in our marketplace, and we're going to be posting the link at the end of the program so you can do a little shopping before you leave. Now, I'd like to give you a little more information about our Millennium Homes site right here, where we're hosting Power Women, Power Tools. And to give that update, I want to introduce two very special Power Women. First of all, Ms. Bethy Kobabe. She is Habitat LA's Director of Construction. She started working with us 15 years ago as an AmeriCorps member, and now she heads up all of our construction sites. And I also want to introduce Jennifer Nickerson. She's a Senior Vice President and Corporate Citizenship Manager for our presenting sponsor, City National Bank.
Thanks, Erin. It's so great to be here today to celebrate such amazing power women in our community. City National is proud to partner with Habitat for Humanity. We have a long history of supporting our communities where our colleagues and clients work and live. It's part of our DNA. And we firmly believe that we have a broader role to play in creating a strong and sustainable society. Affordable housing is a big piece of that puzzle, and so we're pleased to be part of the Habitat story. Speaking of Power Women, Bethy here is amazing. Bethy, can you give us an update on what's going on here at the site?
Hi, thanks for that kind introduction. I couldn't be more excited to be with you all here today on our site in Long Beach, where we're building 10 new homes for 10 new partner families. Even though we can't have you all out here building with us, I just want you to know that our team is still working hard in all the ways that we can, and we couldn't do it without you and your support virtually, financially, and just in every way that you've been partnering with us through these unprecedented times. So thank you so much for being a part of our team, and just know that no matter what, you're always in our hearts. So today, as you can see, we've laid the foundations for these 10 new homes, and next up we'll be working on the framing and raising those walls.
Thanks, Bethy. We're so excited to be on this journey with you. Thank you and everyone at Habitat for all your hard work. And I invite all of you to stay tuned over the coming months as we'll be sharing video updates on the progress of Millennium Homes. Erin had a chance recently to connect with a few power women to learn about the tools they're using to create deep and lasting impact in their communities. Let's tune into their panel discussion.
Hello, I'd like to welcome you all to our panel discussion today as part of our 17th annual Power Women, Power Tools event. As we've mentioned, this year we weren't able to all be together on a build site. However, community building is continuing to happen in several really important ways during the pandemic. Throughout my work, as I have mentioned, I get to meet really inspiring people from all walks of life. And what I find most interesting is learning about their life path and what motivates them. Today, we will share 3 such inspiring women with you so you can hear about their life journeys and what has motivated them to use their skills and tools to improve our communities. All right, first I'd like to introduce our first panelist, Councilmember Mary Zendejas from the Long Beach City Council, and she represents District 1. Thank you for being with us, Mary.
Hi, Erin. Thank you so much. It's my absolute pleasure to be here.
Next, we have Karen A. Clark. She's the Senior Vice President of Marketing at City National Bank. Karen, thank you for joining us.
I'm looking forward to the discussion. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you. And next, we have Kathleen Buckley Domingo. She's the Senior Director of the Office of Life, Justice, and Peace in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. Kathleen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with all of you, Power Women.
And we're pleased to have you. Thank you. The underlying theme of this year's Power Women, Power Tools build is to remind all of us that we have the capacity to make a difference. And despite the current challenges with COVID, we are all continuing to build not only homes, but also better futures for the communities through economic empowerment, advocacy, inclusive representation, training, and community organizing. The tools each of us have in our tool belt may be different, but we do have the ability to transform our communities in which we work and live. So ladies, thank you for joining us today. Each of you have chosen paths in which you are making an impact every day in the lives of women, their partners, their families, and our communities, yet you accomplish this work in different settings. You each have had so many accomplishments and you represent a broad area of expertise from finance and housing to the arts and civic engagement and advocacy, social justice, and human rights. You have all been recognized for your talent and leadership and your commitment to providing opportunities for the underserved. We're honored to have you here with us today. To start us off, I'd love to just ask each of you to define how you are a power woman. To us at Habitat, each one of you is a power woman. And we want to know what are some of the most important tools, be it a quality, a characteristic, a guiding principle, or a vision that you utilize to guide your work. In other words, what tool are you using to make an impact as a power woman? All right, I'd like to start first with Councilmember Mary Zendejas. Nice to have you with us. Can you share with us about what qualities and tools you use in your career and in your life that have made you the powerful woman that you are today?
Thank you so much, Erin. I'm so honored to be here amongst these wonderful power women today, both Karen and Kathleen and yourself. And I'm super excited to be able to share what makes me a power woman. What I think is collaborative leadership. And what I mean by that, that's my main thing, is to be able to create partnerships with not only the community, but with organizations throughout the community, throughout my district, to make things happen and really bring about good change into the community. One of the perfect examples is partnering up with Habitat for Humanity in my Washington neighborhood, which is one of the districts that, that is in one of the neighborhoods that is in my district. So I think that partnering up and being able to establish partnerships with the community is what really helps us all make the city better and helps me be able to do what I want to do in my district.
That's such a good message because no one can do it alone, right? And so partnerships and collaborations spread our impact even wider. Thank you, Mary. All right, Karen A. Clark, would you please, same question to you, and that is, what makes you a power woman and what tools do you have in your tool belt that help you to have a greater impact in your work?
Well, thank you for the question, and it's so nice to be here. Well, I agree. I agree with the first answer. Creating partnerships is really key. And for me, I really try to be as inclusive of a leader as I can on a daily basis. And for me, that means doing what I can, when I can, because I can for somebody else, right? And I think a lot of times, we make it more complicated than it needs to be. But for me, I have built a network of mentors that I can pick up the phone or send an email to and, get a referral, get an answer, get a good thought on something that I'm thinking about. So why can't I do that for other people? I can easily make introductions. I might not be able to give them the answer, but I can give them a person who can give them the answer. I might not be able to write that particular check, but I can introduce them to other people who might be able to write that check, right? There's always something that we can do, even if it's a good word. And I will tell you, and you all know right now during this pandemic, there are so many people that are hurting, not just organizations that are hurting. There are people that are hurting. And sometimes when we feel like we are at our wit's end, a good word, just a good word. How can I help you? You know, give me a call. Let me know if there's anything I can do to alleviate your burden right now is powerful to people, especially now when there's just so much work, right?
Yeah.
The harvest is plenty. And with all of us powerful women, there's so much that we can solve if we're just intentional about it and just extending a helping hand.
I love that. You can never underestimate the impact that encouragement will have on someone else. And I think that's one of the best qualities that you can have, and that is to mentor others, to bring them along on their leadership path, and also to encourage them when things are tough. So I love that, Karen. Thank you. All right, Kathleen, let's go to you. Tell us a little bit about what tools you have in your tool belt that encourage you to on your leadership journey, and what that make you a power woman.
Well, Erin, I think as women, we have the opportunity to model good behavior. And I love Mary and Karen's answers. I think they are amazing models for other women in our community. I think one of the most important things that we can do as women is listen when people tell their stories. Especially this year, I think we have all learned the great value and importance of working with people, walking with them, and accompanying them, even though we're physically distant, right? We're so tired of being in our own homes away from everyone else. And so more than ever, we know what that means to look someone in the eye and truly listen to their story. And so I think sometimes the mere act of listening to another person can validate them and their experience more than anything else. And I think that's really our true strength. We're good listeners. Women are good listeners. We're also good talkers. And that sets us apart in our approach to leadership. Listening teaches us who people truly are and not just who we think they are. And I think that's really important for us. Then we know how to help them based on who they are and what they need and what we've learned about them. So I think we learn their needs and their strengths. We learn their loves. We learn their heartaches. And all of that makes us better leaders and better problem solvers, and ultimately better neighbors to each other.
Oh, wow. Well said. Absolutely. Listening is one of those key skills that we would love to see more of, and another key skill in making you an excellent leader. So honored to have you here with us today. All right, council members and Dejas. As you know, Habitat has deep roots in the city of Long Beach. In fact, it is where we built our first home 30 years ago, and where we just started our 1,001st home in the Washington neighborhood, which you mentioned is in your district. I would like to ask you, what events in your life inspired you to serve as an advocate for others? I remember chatting with you, and you told me that about your life journey and how you enjoy being an inspiration to other women in the community. And you started getting involved in community work as a teen, organizing citizenship fairs. And now you're a council member in one of the largest cities in California. Tell me a little bit more about that journey.
For starters, Erin, I never envisioned myself as a councilwoman. I always thought that politics was not for me. And so when the position was open, when the council seat was opening, a lot of my friends would come to me and would tell me, Mary, you should run, you should run. And I'd be like, nope, that's okay. Nope, politics are not for me. And I remember the former councilwoman that she one time told me, you know what, Mary, you're going to be the next first district council member. And I said, oh, no, that's not going to be me. Because I always thought that my place was helping the community, advocating for the community, making sure that my community's needs were always met, and making sure that I was the voice of those that didn't have a voice. is, you know? And so that's where I thought, you know, that was my place, and I was comfortable in that place until one day there was an item in regards to housing, and I went to speak in front of council, and I told council why I thought that they should move forward on this item. And then I clicked, you know, because I came home and that council meeting was going forever. And so I turned it on my TV, and I realized, wait a minute, I would be of a bigger impact on that side of the dais than I am on this side. And that's when it clicked that I had to run for office, to not for me, but for those that I was advocating for those that didn't have a voice. I needed to be their voice. And I knew that always was my mission in life. And I'm like, this is exactly what a council member does. So that's when I decided to run, and I'm so happy I did, because I am meeting and helping so many people in my community. And so that just brings me so much joy.
And we're so happy that you did too, because the traits that you mentioned that you enjoyed so much about working in your community are exactly the traits that I think every council person should have. So tell me a little bit about how you're partnering with the residents in their neighborhood to transform the Washington neighborhood. And I think you're seeing a positive shift. I know I am seeing a great shift in the Washington neighborhood. I'd love to know what you attribute that to.
Yes, well, the Washington neighborhood is dear and near to my heart, only because most of the residents who live in the Washington neighborhood are Spanish speaking. And so that's one of the things that I'm most proud of as a councilwoman, is that I am bilingual and that I can provide them with a council person that they could talk to in Spanish. And the way I partner up with my residents is I become very, very accessible to them. I make sure that that they have my cell phone number, that they can call me at any time. I also make sure that I have every week on Mondays, I have a check-in period where I invite all my residents to come and have direct access to me and my staff. And so so they know that on every Monday, I will be there for them to be able to answer any of their questions, any of their concerns. If they need anything, they can come to me directly. My staff is very involved with the Washington neighborhood, and to me, it was also important to have staff that was also Spanish speaking. And not only that, but one of my staff members is also from the Washington neighborhood, which is something that was important to me, to find a staff member from that neighborhood itself. So there's many ways that I partner up with them.
Well, you certainly are accessible. I see you all throughout the community all the time. And I also get your weekly news updates. And so I know that you're communicating with your constituents in several ways. If you could give one piece of advice to someone who's interested in serving in public office as a mechanism of community transformation, what would that advice be?
Go for it. Go for it. Only because this is the way to really make some positive change for your neighborhood. If you really are passionate about serving your community, this is definitely the way to go to be able to make that change for your residents and the community as a whole.
Love that. Thank you, Mary, so much for being with us today and for joining our panel.
Absolutely.
All right, Karen, you've had such an amazing career so far in banking and marketing. You've worked with nonprofits and the arts. And it's no secret now that women, in particular women of color, have faced greater challenges rising up the ranks in the workforce, especially in the corporate environment. You've had such a successful and multifaceted career. And City National Bank also has a dynamic female CEO who I'm sure provides additional inspiration for the women at City National Bank. And what I admire so much about you is that you have not only been a barrier breaker, but you've also held the door open for other women to follow. And so I'm curious what you've leaned on and what tools you've used to help you navigate your career, despite any challenges that may have come your way, and what advice you would have for other women also on those career paths.
Thank you, Erin, for that question. So I think the greatest thing that I rely on is mentors. And let me start back at the beginning when I got my very first mentor. And it was a long time ago. And I was at my second bank. I was in my 30s, late 20s, probably right at 30, early 30s. And I got my first management assignment. And I worked in commercial real estate, construction and lending. And very male dominated even now. So you can imagine back then. Yeah, yeah.
A lot of women in that field. That's great.
Yeah. So I got my first, management assignment, and there was a woman named Regina Chung, called her Reggie. And she was a first generation Chinese immigrant. She was an executive at Bank of America. And she was probably 3 or 4 layers removed from me. I think she either reported to the CEO or the vice chairman. And she flew down from San Francisco to have lunch with me. And again, like I said, she was 3-4 layers, at least 4 layers removed from me. And she came down to have lunch and she wanted to congratulate me on my assignment. And she said, "You now have a great opportunity and you have a great charge." She said, "You are a female. And so you are in a position to help other women." She said, "And in particular, you are in a position to help other Black women, and you have to do it." She said, "When I got my first management assignment, and ever since then, I've always looked out for women intentionally." And she said, "And I always look out for Asian women very intentionally." She said, "If you don't do it, who's going to do it?" And she left me with that question. I mean, she was waiting for an answer. Like, you're right, I got to do it. She said, "But one thing is you always have to be like 200-300% above board, because you will always get questioned when you support a woman. When you support another Black person, you're always going to get questioned as to whether or not you're playing favoritism, or, whatever. So you have to make sure that they've given you 200% so that you can always defend that move, right?" She said, "It's unfair, but that's the way it is." And I have lived by that advice. I have always done whatever I can for women and whatever I can for Black women, whatever I can for women of color, but I'm as intentional about it as possible, right? And I know also having worked in this DEI space for many, many years, I've had an international assignment coaching managers on how to, get optimal performance from people of color. And it's all about how you show up as a manager. It's all about your filters, right? You hired good people, so it's all about you as to what happens after that. But I have been very, very intentional. And I've talked to other people about being intentional, because we have 3 circles, right? Everybody's got 3 circles. You can have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 circles. But if you look at Stephen Covey's circle, you've got a circle of control, a circle of influence, and a circle of concern. And far too many of us spend far too much time in that circle of concern. And we got to bring it back in, right? And far too many of us underestimate our power of influence. And so if we're not in here in the circle of control, we're way out here in this area of concern where we can do nothing about. But if we really step back and look at the influence that we have with people, so many of us underestimate that. We underestimate it. But there's so much we can do to influence people. And when you are intentional, and you are, and you're opening yourself up and you're letting people know, I will help you. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but look, let's create a partnership. I'm going to help you. You will get that back. You will get that back. So, in 1,000%, 1,000%. And so my greatest tool is being a mentor and being mentored from people from all walks of life. I have more mentors than friends. And I have mentors who don't know that they are my mentor. But that's how I make it. And then I learn from them and I try to give it back to other people.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's so true. It's a step that every one of us could take in our sphere of influence to look around us and say, who could we mentor? Who could we, who's the next generation leaders that are coming up, and how can we help them with what we've learned along the way? So I think it's a fabulous lesson. You talked a little bit about this, and I want to give it some background, but you're also City National Bank's Multicultural Strategy Manager, and you work across all business lines to help solidify the bank's commitment to inclusion. And I know that you also facilitate unconscious bias training at the bank. So all of those are things that we would love to see every corporation embrace. And I know along those lines at Habitat, it's something that we are also focused on nationwide. And we also recognize that we're in an industry, just as the banking industry, where our industry has played a role in excluding people of color from homeownership opportunities and creating some of the economic disparity that we see playing out through generations. So, historically, it's been difficult, and part of that is banking and lending to Black households in particular, but Latinx households and other minorities. It's been tough for them to access homeownership and the wealth building opportunities that come with it. And at Habitat, we're doing what we think we should to correct that. It's part of how we were founded, right? We were founded with that commitment to provide all people, regardless of ethnicity, equal access to safe and decent housing. And in Los Angeles, about 85% of the families we serve are families of color. So tell me a little bit about how you're leading City National Bank through this internal discussion, as well as the external work that you do as a bank and as a lender to kind of ensure that communities of color have that greater access to housing and home ownership.
Well, first, let me just say that we are so pleased to be a partner with Habitat for Humanity. And my boss, Linda Duncombe, who's the CMO, sits on the board. And then I've got a great partner in the bank, Jennifer Nickerson, who runs community. And Jennifer and I do a lot of work together in the community. We sit on a particular committee that, has a influence in how we spend our money, in the community. And so when this opportunity to support Habitat in a much bigger way than we had in the past came along, and Jennifer presented that to, the bank executives and to, those of us that were working in the space, it was just a slam dunk for us. It was like, this is so authentic to what we do and what we've always tried to do in terms of creating opportunities for community, and Habitat is just, such a stellar partner. And I was telling some of the ladies before we started that I've got personal, experience with Habitat. I was doing work, my husband and family and I, in a housing project for 4 years. And there was a Habitat for Humanity's project there. And the residents called them Jimmy Carter homes, but everybody was so excited. And this was back in the 90s. And that was really my first introduction to Habitat. So I love this organization. The main reason why there is such a gap in wealth between communities of color and mainstream communities in America is, of course, institutional racism. And it is, the government who was the original redlining agency to bar Black people from buying homes. And when they, started trying to correct those actions, we did see gains in the 60s and 70s with the civil rights movement, but there is still there was so much, hundreds of years to catch up, right? And so you're not going to fix that overnight, but it'll never be fixed unless there is intentionality on fixing it, right? So I work for a bank that is focused on this issue, and I've worked for other banks that are very focused on this issue. And it's not just banks, it's any corporation or any company that is really concerned about communities, which all corporations should be, because it's those communities that create your revenue by buying your products and your services and your goods. But they need to, if you want to be intentional, look at all of the issues that exist. What are the barriers, right? There's tons of barriers. And if a company or a person working in a company doesn't know what they are, you can Google. You can call Habitat for Humanity. You can call the United Way. There's all kinds of ways you can figure out what the issues are and carve a little space for yourself. If it's volunteering for your colleagues to give education on home ownership, if it's funding home ownership centers, if it's funding down payment assistance, if it is really helping your own employees for, to buy homes. Homes are the way people create wealth, and we will never solve this issue unless we solve that problem. Personally, an individual can go volunteer for Habitat once the world opens up. They can Google right now and see, how can I help to solve an issue? There's so much information available that if somebody really wants to help, they can figure it out. But there's major agencies. If you have a health concern and you want to help in that area, call the American Cancer Society, call the juvenile diabetes. I mean, there's so many ways, right?
Right.
So it's just take a step.
Yes, that's right. Everybody has a role that they can play. And thank you for that leadership role that you're taking, both at City National Bank and with your community as a whole. It's just very inspiring to hear about all the great work that you're doing. And we love our partnership with you and Jennifer and Linda and City National Bank, the whole team. So thank you, Karen. All right, Kathleen, I'm so happy to also have you join us on this panel. First of all, I want to congratulate you on your recent appointment as the Executive Director of the California Catholic Conference. I hear that you will be the first woman Executive Director of the conference, so that's very exciting. And as you know, Habitat is founded as an ecumenical Christian organization, and so much of our work is accomplished by people putting their faith into action in order to transform communities. And I think that, it's been a historic partnership with the Catholic Coalition, which is made up of about 15 to 20 local congregations and has institutional support from the Archdiocese. So could you share with me, if you'd be comfortable with the role that your faith plays in the work that you do and your commitment to social justice?
Sure, Erin, thank you so much for that question. It's really wonderful to have this partnership with the Archdiocese and Habitat. I think it's just such an organic connection, and we're so proud of the great work that we've been doing with all of you since about 2014. Actually, we've worked on, I think, over 26 Habitat homes at this point, and we're working on more. So we're excited about that. Really what we find is I love following these two other power women, right? Because I'm learning from them as they're speaking as well. And I love what Karen mentioned about intentionality. I think that's so often what it is. Our faith plays a big role sort of in our personal life, but it takes intentionality to have that faith spill over into identifying opportunities in the moment to help other people and have that be our faith impelling us to help other people in that moment. We go back to the gospel where Jesus tells us that when we care for those in need, when we do acts of mercy and love, we are caring for him. And so as Catholics, when we're out in the world working with Habitat and with these fantastic organizations to help our neighbors, especially as they're attaining home ownership for their families, what a wonderful thing. It's an act of love that flows directly from our faith. And sometimes we're seeing ourselves loving people that we maybe just met or haven't even met yet, but it doesn't matter because we're all part of this wonderful community. We're all brothers and sisters together. And so it's this service of love that we see as really impelling us to do this great work. And I really appreciated Mary's comment too about how she had to kind of learn and realize that she could serve people best by being part of the city council. And I think, again, that's where our faith comes in, is it helps us to say, you know what, I think maybe I can serve better by doing these works of mercy, these works of justice to help people in a particular way. And then having our faith lead us and guide us into situations that might be a little bit outside our comfort zone. But when we meet those people face to face and we hear their stories, then we can do that wonderful work. So one example this summer, this has been such a crazy year. And I think it's really been a time where we have learned our own vulnerabilities. People who were not housing vulnerable or who would never have thought they would end up in a line for groceries somewhere are all of a sudden in those situations. And I think it makes all of us really understand and have empathy, maybe at a level that we had never had before, that it just takes one moment, one bad thing in life, and we could be there too. And maybe we were, but even sometimes in the midst of our own difficulties and troubles, we're helping other people. We had this great opportunity this summer to partner with some different sports organizations. We went down to one of our parishes, St. Lawrence Brindisi in Compton, And as families were coming in to get their groceries in that food line, we had the great opportunity to pass out soccer balls and jump ropes and frisbees and all these things to these kids who were so grateful. Their eyes just lit up and they thought, you know, someone thought about us in the midst of this horrible situation where we're just here to get milk and eggs and bread because we literally can't eat. Someone remembered that we're kids and we just need to play with a soccer ball in the street or in the backyard. So things like that, I think that really take our faith into that human level where we're connecting so deeply with others. That's what makes me energized. That's what makes me excited. And I just love being here with these other power women because I think we're making it all happen on all these different levels.
Well, thank you, Kathleen. I can feel your energy and I can feel your excitement. And, you know, as you were speaking, you really brought a thought to me, which is that so many people may be surprised to learn about the deep social justice roots of the Catholic Church. And because sometimes in today's kind of divided rhetoric, people of faith and people who work on social justice are often seen as being at odds with each other. But the Catholic Church has been doing this since its forming. And as you say, it is exactly what we're taught to do when we're walking our faith, right? And when we're living our faith. So I love that you're that shining example of someone who is living your faith through your work. And I'd also like to just even bring it home to as you're getting ready to close out this panel, but thinking about other women who are watching this today. And you know, women throughout the pandemic have really been the hardest hit. Some of them have had to give up working. Some of them have kids at home. I know that you have 2 children and I've got 3 teens at home. So as a mom, like what tools are you trying to instill in your kids so that they understand this importance of serving others in our communities?
This year in a particular way, I think Erin has taught us patience. Moms at home, we're working with kids at home also. But it's also taught our kids, I think, to think of the world in a different way. You know, our kids, my kids have been at home Zooming into school for almost a full year now. I'm sure yours too. And you know, what we've really been asking them is to think about other people first, put other people first. Maybe someone's grandmother, maybe someone down the street who has an underlying illness. We're staying at home and we're wearing our masks for those people, not just for ourselves. And I think that that's a really important thing to do. One thing too that I think is key this year is to know that serving other people doesn't always have to be a grand gesture. It can and it should be. And those works of justice and those works of mercy are so important. But sometimes it can be something as simple as just a kind word and a smile that can change someone's day. And even our kids can enter into those things. And I think the more that we make that a daily habit for ourselves and for our kids, putting other people first, then we start encouraging them to participate in sort of the complete transformation, right, of ourselves as well as others in our community. And so as our kids get ready to go off into the world after having lived this year of really putting the needs of others first, I hope that they're going to be the transformation that our world needs. I really see in my own kids and in my friends' kids, kind of a shift in their conversation and in their dialogue, and I hope it in their thinking. And so I'm looking to this year's kids, this generation, to really be that answer to bring empathy to our world that we so desperately need.
I tell the same thing to my kids. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Kathleen. And I want to thank each of you for your insights and your candor and commitment to making a difference in our communities, in our corporations, in our churches, and just being that leader. Women are leading in all of these areas and in our communities and in our homes, right? And so I really am inspired by each one of you, and I wish we had even more time together, but I know this has been a tremendous gift for all of you who are watching today to be able to hear from these power women and to really find different ways of being inspired to look at the gifts that you have and to realize that no matter where you are and what you're doing, you all have tools to help improve our communities. So thank you again, Mary and Karen and Kathleen, for your time today. It's really been a pleasure talking with each one of you. And I'm looking forward to building on site with you one day, hopefully soon later this year.
Thank you, Erin. You're a great host.
Wow, what an inspiring panel. Thank you to each one of our panelists for sharing with us the tools that you're using to help improve our community. I was honored to have the opportunity to talk with each one of you. Now, as we think about it, every one of us has a different tool, or sometimes many tools in our tool belt that we can use to help others as well. So today, I want to inspire you to think about what your tools are. When we work together, we can change our communities and help families in need. Thank you to each one of you for continuing to partner with us in this journey. Now, we're going to hear from some power women right here in this Long Beach neighborhood who are working to improve their community. They inspire me, and I know they're going to inspire you. So let's hear from some power women who are really making a change.
My name is Victoria Hernandez, and I'm the founder of Skate Dojo. This is my home park, so when the pandemic first hit, I was coming here almost every day. Yeah, it just became familiar to me.
My name is Elida Zaragoza. I'm currently the treasurer of the Skate Dojo nonprofit. I recently joined just because I love the message that Victoria has for it.
The project was just to make this a beautiful park. It may not look like it, but a lot of the kids will find their friends here, will find support here, and might even find safety here. Habitat became involved when I knocked on the right door.
My name's Yvette Nelson, and I am a Habitat partner.
I knocked on a vet's door.
My house is the greenhouse right there on the corner, the biggest house on the block.
And when I rented a pressure washer, I didn't have electricity or water, so I didn't know who she was. I just asked, can I use your water? Can I use your electricity?
She knocked on my door one day because the park was dirty and she wanted to clean it, and she took her own money, went to Home Depot, got a pressure, and I let her use my water and electricity.
I would like to see people take pride in their dojo and keeping it clean.
Her and a couple of guys, you know, got together, and then everybody started joining and helped cleaning. To me, I thought that was awesome. For a person just to take in her hand to clean the park because she was tired of it being nasty and dirty.
There's a lot of holes in the ramps. I've probably seen them.
She's the only other skater I've heard concerned about these holes at the parks. So it really excites me that I hear Victoria talking about the repairs that need to be done.
It wasn't until Habitat gave me a lot of support and encouragement to start the nonprofit, and that was in December of last year.
Habitat had called me about a grant, and that's the first thing I thought about. Hey, let's clean the park.
The Small Sparks grant was given to Skate Dojo.
It's a grant to lift up the neighborhood. Without that grant, we wouldn't be able to do what we did of cleaning the park.
It just skyrocketed from there.
Hey, Habitat is the key of this community. By Habitat bringing in homes in the neighborhood, more people will be involved in taking care of the neighborhood.
Having Habitat show such generosity in what they're doing for our neighborhood, it makes such a difference, and it brings a lot of hope to people. What they're doing here for the skate park is also bringing that. You know, a lot of these kids see it as nobody cares about my skate park, so nobody cares about me. And so when they see somebody putting some time, putting some love, putting some effort into it, they also feel like they're being taken care of.
Thank you, Victoria and Yvette, for sharing your story. I know as a parent, it has been really tough to see our kids spend so much time inside while we're trying to keep them safe. And it's so clear to me that Skate Dojo and your leadership training is providing these kids the tools that they need to have a successful future. Habitat for Humanity's vision is a world where everyone has a decent place to live. And we devote ourselves to creating that world because we believe that regardless of who we are or where we came from, everyone deserves that opportunity for a better future. And believing is not enough, so we build. We build houses. And through those houses, we build the strength, stability, and self-reliance that families need in order to achieve a better life. That better life is our primary goal. So when we build houses, we are building bridges between people of diverse backgrounds. We are building paths to more connected communities. And we are building ways for people of all walks of life to come together and to share in the creation of a new neighborhood, a new community, and a better world. That new world allows access and equality and opportunities for everybody. That new world is the same new world that Dr. Martin Luther King called our beloved community. We hope that you will join us in building that beloved community so we can create that world that we all envision. Even though we're in a virtual environment right now, there are several ways that you can support Habitat LA in our work. The first one is to advocate. Advocate for dollars at our state and federal level that will help Habitat for Humanity build more homes through our Cost of Home campaign. The second is to donate funds directly to Habitat LA so we can buy materials to build more homes like these here at our Millennium Homes site. Another way you can support us is by shopping in one of our 3 restores. Our stores are open 7 days a week, providing critical home improvement materials to families who are staying safer at home. When you shop at our restores, the proceeds help us build more houses. You can also shop our Women's Empowerment Marketplace to help local entrepreneurs and Habitat at the same time. And finally, don't forget, we have a silent auction going on right now. Please be sure to check out all those wonderful items that have been donated to help Habitat further our mission. And we know the reason that we all love to come together at Habitat is to build. And we're so sad that we can't have you out here building with us just yet, but we have a building opportunity for you to do from home. You may or may not know that since COVID hit, Habitat LA has been very instrumental in helping our families, those who we knew would need a safety net because they are still going to work and they were already struggling for housing and food. And so we wanted to provide that safety net to our families, and we have helped more than 1,900 families since the pandemic hit with food vouchers, rental assistance, mortgage assistance, technology equipment for the kids to go back to school, and so many more things. And we have an opportunity for you to build a Healthy Homes gift basket for one of these families in need. So you can build a gift basket with your family using the materials listed, or you can buy the materials and we will assemble it for you. Or if you prefer, you can just make a donation and Habitat LA will buy all the materials to create those Healthy Homes gift baskets and deliver them to families in need. As we wrap up our 2021 Power Women, Power Tools event, I want to thank again our presenting sponsor, City National Bank, and every one of our sponsors. I want to thank our panelists, our honorary committee members, and our host committee members, as well as our board of directors for their commitment and contributions to our mission. And finally, I have to give a big shout out to my amazing staff who through it all step up, and they have helped more families during the pandemic than we had planned to even before the pandemic hit. Thank you for joining us here today, and we can't wait to see each other soon.
When you say you feel low and good things are hard to see, when you pray to find love, I know somewhere we could be.
Power Women, Power Tools.
2021.
Rock on!
Hey Power Women, this is Cheryl Lee Ralph, and I'm so happy to join Habitat LA for the 17th annual Power Women, Power Tools virtual event. Girl Power. Oh yeah, baby.
Hi everyone, I'm Kate Linder. I'm Esther on The Young and the Restless, and I'm also a Power Women Honorary Committee member. I just want to say hi and welcome all of the Power Women who are joining Habitat LA today. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Bianca Santos, and I'm proud to be a Habitat LA Power Woman. Congratulations, Habitat LA, on your 17th annual Power Women, Power Tools. And of course, Girl Power.
Hi, I'm Esther Alva, an elder at Pacific Palisades Presbyterian Church.
I'm also a design professional in the world of residential architecture. I love supporting Habitat for Humanity by participating in their build days and playing with power tools.
Hi, I'm Mr. Mayo, and I am proud to be a Habitat LA Power Woman. Congratulations, Habitat LA, on the 17th annual Power Women Power Tools. Girl power!
Hi, I'm Oriana with the Oriana Shea Group here in Long Beach, California, and I am very proud to have been a sponsor and be a Habitat LA Power Woman, because there are so many local families in need of safe, decent, and affordable housing in Long Beach and the surrounding communities. Thank you to Habitat LA for the amazing work you do.
Hi, my name is Pearl. I have been a Habitat LA supporter since 2014, and I'm incredibly honored to be a part of the Power Women Power Tools host committee this year. I believe in affordable housing for all and making our communities a better place. Thank you so much for being here and for supporting Habitat LA.
Hello and welcome to Power Women Power Tools. The future is female.
Hi everyone, welcome to Power Women Power Tools. My name is Sandra and I'm honored to be on this year's host committee. I've been a volunteer with Habitat since 2010 because I love being a part of an organization that's building brighter futures for our communities. I'm so happy you're here and get to be a part of this with me.
I'm Sarah Dow with Laserfish. We are proud to partner with Habitat for Humanity in celebrating Women's History Month with Power Women, Power Tools.
Out of control. this evening when I heard music echo through the night. The same old songs that I heard the night before. So I started running so I wouldn't be too late. I didn't think that I would ever see your face again, but I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. When I got close, my heart was pumping to the beat that was blasting through the night. And on the street, the crowd was jumping, singing songs and dancing through the night. I didn't think that I would ever see your face again, but I was wrong. I can't believe we're dancing in the street. All I ever wanted was to get close to you. Now I'm burning up in your atmosphere. I can't feel my feet while we're dancing in the street in the neon light. Let the music on repeat all through the night. And when the music started to fade out, the first rays of sunlight lit up your eyes. Oh, how I wish this night would never end, so we can keep on dancing. I didn't think that I would ever see your face again, but I was wrong. I can't believe we're dancing in the street. All I ever wanted was to get close to you. Now I'm burning up in your atmosphere. I can't feel my feet while we're dancing in